Hey, it's Ty Screams, and I'm about to give you a recap of what happened on season 46, episode 5 of Survivor. This episode starts briefly at the Yanu camp after Banu's exit. We see Kenzie getting upset because they keep losing and they're going on 10 days without fire. At the Siga beach, Mariah sees Ben hanging out with Charlie a lot and notifies Maria and Jem because this seems like a threat to the Charlie's Angels alliance. Mariah sees Ben as a huge threat for being so likable, but I see Charlie as the bigger threat because of how quickly he picked up the salsa. During this pre-challenge portion of the episode, we also see Jem and Tim talking, and it's clear that Jem is trying to convince Tim that he's running the show. At Nami, everyone is on the idol hunt, except Liz, who's hanging back at camp. Venus is looking for an idol, but also just trying to tail Hunter because she doesn't want him to get an advantage without her knowing. He just sits down and stops her from following, and it seems to work, because as soon as she leaves him, he finds the beware advantage. And this is the first time we see someone talk about the clause at the bottom regarding switching beaches. Q at the Yanu beach is seen talking to Kenzie, throwing himself on the sword, saying if they lose to send him home. And she believes him. But this is all part of Q's plan. He wants to make Kenzie feel as comfortable as possible so she doesn't play her shot in the dark if they happen to go to tribal. Him and Tiffany could then just take Kenzie out. Unfortunately, Tiffany sees herself in the middle and doesn't know what to do. Now to the immunity/reward challenge. Firstly, I'm surprised that there isn't a tribe swap. But instead, Nami and Siga both have to sit people, meaning 5 castaways weren't participating in this challenge. Similar to last season, it's the challenge where they make their way through a 3-level obstacle course, unhook sandbags using a pole, and then launch them at targets. And they're playing for both immunity and a platter of fruit and pastries. Nami and Siga quickly take the lead through the obstacle course, with Nami being the first to the hook. Somehow Yanu is able to catch up and take second to the hook. Then Siga. Nami drops her sandbags, starts carrying them to the catapult, while Yanu struggles with untying and Siga is able to drop their bags. Before Yanu is able to even start launching the sandbags at a target, Nami is able to secure the win. This leaves Siga with the lead and Yanu trying to catch up. But in a miraculous moment, we see another Q vs Tim standoff. This time, Q is able to secure the win and we get a slow-mo sequence of Yanu experiencing their first victory. Side note, prior to the challenge starting, we get a slow-mo of a purple sandbag and a yellow sandbag hitting both immunity idols. The sneaky editors thought that they can get that past me, but I caught it. Prior to the tribes departing back to their respective camps, Jeff announces another journey. This time, Hunter, Tim, and Q will all depart. On this journey, we see the 3 of them talk about an alliance between the 3 of them, and each choosing a +1 to make their final 6. Then they have to decide which one of the 3 will risk their vote to test their survivor knowledge. Tim and Q concede to Hunter as Tim wants to have a vote at tribal that night, and Q does not want to risk it. Hunter then reads the paper on how he needs to put survivor logos in the proper order, which you would think he would be good at due to his extensive survivor puzzles and challenges that he builds and practices, but he flubs it and misses quite a few, losing his vote at the next tribal council. Yanu finally has fire, and it's cute to see them enjoying their pastries and reveling in their win. And while Siga is happy that Yanu has fire, they're also big sad. They're really bummed that one of them has to go. Jem, in a very odd mood, announces that she's going idol hunting and runs to grab the clue. Her clue states that she must take machete measurements of different objects around the camp, input them into a math equation, then measure that many machete lengths away from the tree to find the key to the box. She's able to do it quickly, and Jem secures an idol. The angels of Charlie's Angels are seen talking, and they decide that Ben is the target because they are suspecting that Tim has an idol. The angels go to Charlie and tell him the plan, and he's bummed because he really likes Ben. Tim returns from the journey and explains what happened. And while everyone seems to believe him, Jem doesn't. Jem is seen talking to Ben while wielding machete, and she's trying to tell him how she wants to work with him, but he's reluctant because he's feeling intimidated. Jem then goes to Tim and tries to talk to him, but he's also reluctant. Jem is just making the rounds. Charlie and Maria, even though they're in an alliance with Jem, are the deciding votes between Jem and Tim going home. Because she's playing so hard, it seems like Jem might be the vote tonight. At Tribal Council, there's talks about how well everyone's working together, but Jeff calls it as he sees it and says, that just means there's going to be a massive blindside tonight. Charlie then speaks up and says that the Vibe Tribe might just be a mask and wondering if the Tribal Council is going to be ripping it off tonight. They all vote, and when the opportunity arises for Jem to play her idol, she doesn't. And both Charlie and Maria voted Jem, so she is the 5th person voted out of Survivor 46. Yanu finally got a win. Another journey, another vote lost, and then a blindside with Jem leaving the idol in her pocket. Seems like the game is starting to pick up, and in the preview for the next episode, it seems like we're heading towards the merge. This also clarifies why they didn't do a tribe swap this episode. Anyway, be sure to like, subscribe, and tune in next week for another recap of Survivor.